Night had fallen over the colony of Vera 9, a world where humans lived on the edge of alien civilization. The twin moons hung low, painting the streets with pale blue light. Most humans avoided the lower districts after dark, but Eli Vance had never been the cautious type. He was a repair engineer who fixed broken machines for a living, and sometimes he fixed broken people too, at least. He tried. That night he walked back from a long shift, his jacket torn at the shoulder, his hands smelling of engine oil. The neon lights flickered over strange alien signs and shops that sold things no human could name. It was quiet, too quiet. He heard the sound before he saw it, a muffled cry like someone trying not to scream. He froze. The sound came from the narrow alley to his right. Eli hesitated for only a moment. Then he turned and stepped into the darkness. Inside the alley, 3 tall figures surrounded a small one. Their bodies were covered in gray skin armor, and their eyes glowed red in the dim light. The small one, a tiny alien girl no older than 8 by human guess, was pressed against the wall, trembling. Her pale purple skin shimmered with fear and her hands clutched a small pouch. "Please, don't," she whispered in broken galactic standard. The tallest thug growled. "You carry royal blood, little one. That blood belongs to the clan now." Before Eli could think, his voice cut through the alley. "Hey, leave her alone." The 3 thugs turned. One laughed in a harsh metallic sound. "A human?" he sneered. "You should walk away, Meatblood." Eli took a step forward anyway. "She's a kid. Let her go." The aliens exchanged glances, amused. One of them drew a curved blade that shimmered like liquid light. Eli's heart pounded, but his feet didn't move. He had seen enough violence on this world to know how it usually ended. But something in the girl's terrified eyes burned inside him. She reminded him of someone he once failed to protect, his little sister, who had died when their transport crashed years ago. He couldn't walk away again. When the first alien lunged, Eli ducked instinctively. The knife sliced his jacket. He grabbed a metal pipe from the ground and swung it. The blow hit the alien's shoulder, making a dull clang. The thug snarled and slashed again. Eli blocked once, twice, but the third swing caught his arm, cutting deep. He didn't stop. He shoved the alien back and yelled at the girl, "Run!" The girl hesitated, her eyes wide, then darted toward the end of the alley. One of the other aliens reached for her, but Eli threw himself between them. The glowing knife flashed again, once into his side, once into his chest. The heat burned like fire. He fell to his knees. The world spun. The girl stopped and turned. "No!" she cried in her own language, voice trembling. She ran to him, kneeling beside him even as the attackers fled into the shadows, maybe afraid of what they had just done. Eli could barely breathe. His vision blurred, and all he saw was the little alien girl crying over him. She touched his face gently and whispered words he couldn't understand. Her tears glowed faintly as they fell onto his skin. The last thing he saw was her tiny hands pressed over his wound, light spreading from her palms. Then everything went dark. When Eli opened his eyes, it was daylight. He was in his small cabin on the edge of the human sector, his own bed, the same creaky ceiling above. For a moment, he thought it had all been a dream, but when he sat up, a sharp pain shot through his chest. He lifted his shirt and froze. There was no wound, no blood, only a strange mark burned into his skin. It looked like a circle of silver light pulsing softly. When he touched it, it felt warm and alive. "What the hell?" he muttered. He tried to remember how he got home, but his mind was blank after the alley. The memory of the girl's glowing tears haunted him. Had she healed him? Was she even real? He stood dizzy and walked to the small window. Outside, the street was quiet. Only the hum of passing drones filled the air. Then he saw movement near his door, 2 shadows, tall and still. He frowned, stepped closer, and reached for the wrench he kept by his bed. A gentle knock came. 3 soft taps. Eli hesitated, then opened the door. 2 alien women stood outside. Both had the same soft lavender skin as the girl from the alley. One was young, tall, with long white hair that shimmered like silver threads and eyes glowing faint blue. The other was older, regal, her dark robe trimmed with gold markings that hummed faintly in the air. Their presence filled the small doorway with an odd warmth and a strange sadness. For a long moment, none of them spoke. Then the older one inclined her head slightly. Her voice was calm, deep, and melodic. "You are Eli Vance," she said, not asking but knowing. Eli nodded slowly. Yeah, that's me. Who are you? The younger woman stepped forward. Her gaze softened when she looked at his chest, at the glowing mark through his shirt. You saved me, she said quietly. You took the blades meant for me. Eli blinked. You're the girl? But you're grown, she said, finishing for him. Time flows differently where we come from. When you fell, my people carried you through the night. You bled for our line. You became part of it. The older woman placed a hand on her shoulder. He does not understand, Lyra. Eli's head spun. Part of it? Look, I just tried to help. I didn't mean to. You did more than help, the elder interrupted softly. You gave blood for our blood. By the laws of our kind, that act binds you to our family, our house. You carry the life thread now. He stared at them, struggling to process. You're saying I'm, what, connected to you? Lyra's eyes shimmered with something between gratitude and fear. If you are harmed, we feel it. If we are wounded, you will feel it too. That is the bond of life you took when you saved me. Eli stepped back, heart pounding. That's insane, is it? The elder asked gently. Look at your chest, human. The mark will never fade. It is our seal. He glanced down. The glow pulsed brighter, almost in answer. The younger woman, Lyra, looked at him with quiet sadness. We did not come to burden you. We came to protect you. The ones who hurt me were from the Kareth clan. They know your face now. They will hunt you because they believe you carry our royal bloodline. Royal, Eli echoed. You're telling me you're some kind of daughters of the Valen house, the elder said simply. The blood you saved was meant to be extinct. Eli swallowed hard. Great, so I just made enemies of some alien royals. Fantastic. The older woman almost smiled. No, human. You made family of them. Before he could reply, a low hum filled the air. His mark began to glow violently, pain shooting through his chest like fire. The two women turned toward the door instantly, their eyes narrowing. Outside, the faint sound of footsteps echoed and heavy. Deliberate, the elder whispered. They found you. Eli grabbed his wrench again, the pain still burning. Who? The Kareth, Lyra said, her eyes glowing brighter. They've come to finish what they started. The elder stepped between him and the door. Stay behind us, Eli Vance. Tonight your bloodline will be tested again. The sound of boots grew louder. Shadows moved beyond the window. Eli's heart pounded. He didn't know why or how, but a strange energy was building inside him. The same glow from the mark spreading across his skin, humming in rhythm with the sister's presence. Then, just before the door burst open, Lyra looked back at him and whispered, You took 2 blades for me. Now we'll take them for you. The light from their eyes flared and the screen fades to black. The front door exploded inward with a crash. Wood splinters flew across the room as 3 armored aliens stormed inside, their blades glowing red. Eli barely had time to react before Lyra and her sister moved like lightning. The elder woman raised her hand, and a flash of blue energy burst from her palm, striking the first attacker square in the chest. He flew backward into the wall. Lyra spun low, her white hair flowing as she slashed through the second alien's weapon arm with a blade of light that appeared from thin air. Eli stumbled back, clutching his chest as the mark burned hotter. The pain pulsed with every swing they made, every impact they took. It was as if his body felt the fight through their senses. He gasped as the third attacker lunged toward him. Before the blade reached him, Lyra appeared in front of him, her arm catching the blow. The plasma edge cut deep into her shoulder. She didn't even cry out. She only glared at her enemy with silver eyes glowing brighter than stars. The pain shot through Eli's chest again, almost dropping him to the floor. He screamed. The elder turned sharply. Enough, she shouted, her voice echoing with strange power. The room vibrated. A wave of light blasted from her hand, throwing all 3 attackers out through the broken door. They hit the dirt outside and didn't move again. Silence fell. Only the sound of Eli's heavy breathing filled the room. Lyra dropped to one knee, clutching her wounded arm. The elder knelt beside her, murmuring softly in their language. The wound glowed and slowly closed. Then she looked up at Eli. You feel her pain, the elder said quietly. That is the bond of the life thread. Eli pressed his hand against his chest, sweat running down his face. That hurt like hell, the elder nodded. Because she was cut. Your bodies are linked now. When she bleeds, you will feel it. When you hurt, she will too. Eli stared at them both, his mind spinning. I didn't ask for this. I just tried to help a kid. The elder's eyes softened. And in doing so, you changed fate. The Kareth will not stop now. You carry our royal mark and a bond they cannot break. Lyra stood, her voice quiet but steady. They will come again. More will follow. You are not safe here. Eli looked around his small wrecked cabin, his only home now full of holes and glowing dust. He sighed. Guess I wasn't that safe to begin with. Lyra's lips curved into a faint smile. You joke even when you bleed. Helps me stay sane, he muttered. The elder straightened. We must leave. The life thread cannot be hidden from those who hunt it. They will sense it soon. Eli frowned. Leave, go where? To our shelter beyond the city walls, she replied. It is shielded. There you will learn what you have become. He wanted to argue, to say he wasn't becoming anything, but his chest burned again, like the mark itself answered her. So he just nodded. Fine, but someone's going to explain all this to me on the way. They left under the fading light of the twin moons. The desert wind carried dust that shimmered in blue streaks. Lyra walked beside him silently, her wounded arm now wrapped in glowing silk. The elder walked ahead, her robe moving like liquid shadow. Eli kept glancing at Lyra, trying to understand who she really was. The last time he saw her, she'd been a terrified little girl in an alley. Now she looked like a woman who had seen wars and carried centuries in her eyes. Finally he asked, You said time flows differently for your kind. How long has it been for you? She hesitated before answering. For me, 12 years. For you, perhaps a few hours. Eli stopped walking. 12 years? You were a child yesterday. She looked away. I was placed in stasis after your sacrifice. My body healed, but the bond changed me. I grew through the life thread's energy. Through you. That is why we found you so easily. Your heart calls to ours. Eli swallowed hard, unsure what to say. There was something haunting in her tone, something that made him feel both guilty and protective. The elder spoke without turning. Our kind live long, human. The thread you carry ties you to that lifespan. Your pulse now beats to a rhythm older than your species. Eli frowned. So what? I'm supposed to just live forever? Not forever, she said softly. Only as long as we do. They walked for hours until the city lights disappeared behind them. Ahead stood a dome-shaped structure half buried in sand. It shimmered faintly under the moons, a hidden outpost. Inside, the air was cool and full of humming energy. Strange symbols pulsed on the walls. Lyra guided Eli to a circular platform that glowed under his feet. This will show you the truth, she said. Eli raised an eyebrow. You sound like a priest. Maybe I am, she replied with a faint smile. The platform activated, projecting a wave of light. Suddenly, he saw images spinning around him. Visions of tall alien cities, of beings with glowing marks on their chests just like his. He saw wars fought over the same symbol. He saw one of the alien women, Lyra's ancestor, binding her life to a human soldier centuries ago. The pattern repeated through history. The life thread always formed between one human and one of their kind. The voice of the elder echoed through the chamber. The bond was made to preserve both species. When one saves the other through true sacrifice, the thread awakens. It grants healing, shared strength, and shared fate. Eli stared at the vision. So this has happened before? Yes, Lyra said softly, but never like this. The bond usually fades when the danger ends. Yours did not. It grew stronger. Eli looked down at his chest, the mark pulsing faintly. Why me? Lyra met his gaze. Because you didn't save me for reward. You saved me out of mercy. The thread knows the difference. He was quiet for a long time. Then he sighed. And now I'm stuck with 2 alien sisters and a death mark on my chest. The elder smiled faintly. Not death, life. But yes, you are stuck with us. For the first time, Eli laughed. A short, breathless laugh that broke the tension. Lyra smiled too, though her eyes still carried sorrow. But the peace didn't last. The lights in the chamber flickered. The symbols on the wall changed to warning red. The elder turned sharply. They found us again. Lyra's eyes widened. That fast? The life thread radiates energy, the elder said grimly. Every moment you remain alive, they can trace it. Eli groaned. Fantastic. I'm basically a walking beacon. The ground shook. A loud metallic roar echoed outside. Through the transparent dome, Eli saw ships descending. Black crafts bearing the Kareth symbol, The elder spread her hands, creating a barrier of blue energy around the chamber. They want the thread. They want its power. Eli looked at Lyra. What happens if they kill me? Her face went pale. Then we die too. Eli clenched his fists. So either I run and doom you both, or I fight and probably die again. Lyra stepped forward, touching his arm gently. You already died for me once. You don't have to again. He looked into her eyes, seeing the same child who once cried in that dark alley. Yeah, he said quietly. Maybe I do. The elder's voice was sharp now. They are breaking the shield. Get ready. Eli took a deep breath. His pulse matched the hum of the thread. The mark glowed brighter than ever before, spreading light through his veins. His body felt lighter, faster, stronger. What's happening to me? He gasped. The thread is waking, the elder answered. You are not just linked, you are becoming part of us. The door shook. A blinding beam cut through the wall. Lyra drew her glowing blade again. Standing beside him, Eli raised a piece of metal ready to swing, though part of him now glowed like living energy. Lyra glanced at him and whispered, This time we fight together, he grinned. Let's make it count. The wall burst open and a wave of armored aliens stormed in. The room filled with blue and red light, the clash of energy and will. Eli charged forward with the sisters beside him. His every move echoed theirs, his every strike guided by their rhythm. He wasn't just a man anymore. He was the pulse of their bond. And as the battle roared, the mark on his chest flared like a star, a human heart beating in harmony with two alien souls. The storm of light and sound inside the dome was deafening. Eli ducked as another blast of plasma hit the wall behind him. Sparks rained over his face, but he barely noticed. The glowing mark on his chest burned like molten fire, but somehow the pain kept him moving, kept him alive. Beside him, Lyra moved like a streak of light. Her silver blade clashed against alien weapons, sending ripples of blue energy through the air. Her sister, the elder Seren, stood near the doorway, both hands raised. Waves of shimmering force flowed from her palms, shielding Eli from a rain of incoming blasts. Eli grabbed a fallen weapon from the ground, a short plasma knife. It hummed in his hand, reacting to the same energy that pulsed inside him. Without thinking, he lunged forward, slashing across an enemy's chest. The alien staggered back, surprised by the strength in a human strike. Another came at him roaring. Eli blocked the blow, the plasma vibrating violently between their blades. The mark on his chest glowed brighter, sending power down his arm. With one swing, he pushed the attacker back and sent him crashing into the wall. Seren shouted, They're trying to breach the core. Stop them! Lyra nodded and ran toward the control panel near the far wall. Eli followed, but pain shot through his ribs, not his but hers. He turned just in time to see a blade graze her arm. He stumbled as if the wound were his own. Lyra! She turned, smiling through the pain. Still standing, aren't you? Their eyes met for a brief moment. A flash of shared energy, life flowing between them like light through glass. Then the ground shook violently. From the broken dome above, a huge figure dropped down, a tall, armored alien with burning red eyes. The others froze. Seren whispered, The Kareth warlord. The warlord's armor glowed with crimson veins. His voice was deep and cold. So this is the human who dares to bind royal blood. You've dishonored our line, filth. Eli stepped forward, his jaw tight. You're the one who sent men after a child. The warlord raised his sword twice Eli's height. Her blood was never meant to survive. By saving her, you've cursed both our worlds. Seren's voice echoed softly. He saved innocence. That can never be a curse. The warlord roared and swung his blade. The floor split in two. Eli barely jumped aside. Lyra attacked from the other side, her silver blade clashing with the warlord's massive weapon. The clash lit the dome like lightning. Eli joined her, their moves synchronizing. Each time she struck, he felt the rhythm inside him, the heartbeat of the life thread guiding him. Together they fought like a single being. But the warlord was powerful. His blows cracked the floor, sending shockwaves through their bodies. Finally, the warlord caught Lyra by the throat, lifting her off the ground. I will end this bond with your death. Eli's chest flared in agony. He felt her suffocating, her pulse fading. Something inside him snapped. His mark blazed so bright it turned white. The world slowed. His voice came out like thunder. Let her go. The warlord turned, too slow, Eli charged, striking with both hands. His plasma blade drove through the alien's armor, straight into the chest. Blue-white light exploded outward. The warlord screamed as cracks of light spread across his body. Then, silence. The warlord's armor shattered, falling to the ground in glowing fragments. Eli fell to his knees, gasping. Lyra dropped beside him, catching his shoulders. Eli, you... But before she could finish, his body started shaking. The energy inside him wasn't stopping. The mark spread across his skin like fire under glass. Serene ran to them, eyes wide. The thread is unstable. The power of both bloodlines is inside him now. Eli gritted his teeth, trying to stay conscious. What's happening to me? You absorbed the warlord's core, Seren said. It's too much for a human body. Lyra held his face gently. You can give it back, to us. To me. He looked into her silver eyes, the same ones that once belonged to a frightened girl in an alley. If I give it back, what happens? You die, she said softly. But we live, Eli smiled weakly. Seems fair. I already died once for you. Lyra shook her head, tears forming. No, not again. He reached up, touching her cheek. You said the thread connects us. If I let go, maybe, it connects us forever. Seren placed a hand on both of them. There is another way. If the thread completes and if he gives himself willingly, his life becomes part of ours. Not lost, shared. Lyra looked at him, desperate. Do you want that? Eli nodded. Yeah, I think I was always meant to find you. Seren closed her eyes and began to chant in her alien tongue. The air shimmered with golden light. Lyra held Eli's hands tightly, tears glowing on her skin. The mark on his chest pulsed one last time, then broke apart into two streams of light. Each stream flowed into the sister's wrists, leaving Eli's skin pale and still. He slumped forward. For a long moment, the dome was silent. The only sound was the wind. Then Lyra gasped, not in grief but in shock. Her veins glowed with new energy. She could feel his heartbeat, not inside her chest, but everywhere. His voice whispered faintly in her mind. Told you I wasn't easy to kill. She laughed softly through tears. Seren smiled, exhausted but proud. He lives through the thread. His soul walks beside ours now. Outside, the sky began to clear. The ships of the Kareth clan turned away, retreating as if sensing the power that had awakened inside the sisters. Lyra stood, looking toward the horizon.
He gave us peace, she whispered. Serene nodded.
And in return we will carry his name through the stars. Weeks passed. The ruins of the dome became quiet again, filled with strange new life. Lyra and Seren rebuilt what was lost, using the energy of the thread to heal their people. Whenever Lyra closed her eyes, she could feel him, the human heartbeat echoing inside her soul. Sometimes she heard his voice in her dreams, teasing her just like before. Don't forget to laugh, Silver Eyes. And every morning, when the first light touched the alien sky, a faint shimmer appeared beside her, the outline of a man standing silently, watching the sunrise with her. He never spoke out loud. He didn't have to. The bond of blood and heart, the life thread, had become eternal. From that day, the legend of the human who took 2 knife stabs for a child spread across the colonies. They called him Eli the Bound, the man who bled for the royal line and became part of alien history. No one on Vera 9 forgot his name. And among the stars, 2 silver-eyed women carried his light forever, guardians of the bond that proved one truth no empire could erase. Human courage could touch even the oldest alien hearts.